Let me tell you about an experience I had in 1979. I was then serving as the general president of the Sunday school. I was invited to attend a meeting of church leaders at which the president of the church, President Spencer W. Kimball, spoke. He charged us to pray that the doors of nations would be opened so that the gospel of Jesus Christ could be brought to all people on earth. He specifically mentioned China and asked that we pray for the people of China. He also said we should be of service to the Chinese people. We should learn their language. We should pray for them and help them. Well, I returned home to my wife, Dancel, who passed away more than 13 years ago. And I said to her, President Kimball asked us in that meeting to learn Chinese. And I did not hear him say, everyone except Brother Nelson. So, would you be willing to study Mandarin Chinese with me? Of course, she agreed, and we were tutored in Mandarin. 6 weeks after President Kimball's charge, I was attending the annual meeting of the American Association for Thoracic Surgery. It was being held in Boston, Massachusetts. That morning, I had prayed in my hotel room for the people of China, just as President Kimball had requested. I went to the first meeting of the day and sat where I always sat at these professional meetings, in the front of the room. As the meeting proceeded, however, I became increasingly uncomfortable in my chair. As the lights were turned down for a slide presentation, I slipped out of my chair and walked quietly to the back of the room, a place where I would usually never sit. When the lights came up again, I found myself sitting by a Chinese doctor. He introduced himself as Professor Wu Yingkai from Beijing, China. After a pleasant conversation with him, I extended an invitation for him to visit Salt Lake City and give a lecture at the University of Utah Medical School. He gladly accepted and did exceptionally well. Then he returned to China. Not long thereafter, he invited me to be a visiting professor of surgery at Shandong Medical University in Jinan, China. That led to subsequent invitations for me to serve as a visiting professor at 2 more universities in China. These wonderful professional experiences prior to my call to the 12 climaxed when I was asked by Chinese surgeons to perform an open heart operation to save the life of their most celebrated opera star. That I did. And gratefully, that operation was a success. It was, incidentally, the last one of my professional life. For almost 40 years now, I've been praying for the people of China. I rejoice in my association with medical colleagues and other dear friends in China. What a joy it is for me now to be officially designated as an, quote, old friend of China, end quote. Underlining the word old, I guess. It is my testimony that when we follow through with whatever the prophet of God asks us to do, the way will be opened and lives will be changed. Now, I hope you are asking yourself, what can I as a teenager do to help gather Israel?